Hello, first graders. Miss Jen is back with our reading lesson, and today we are moving on to a new story. So, just by looking at the title, what do you think the story is going to be about? Ice the cake. Ice the cake? What does that mean? So, raise your hand if you have ever had a birthday party. Yeah, I see all of your hands. Of course, you all have had a birthday party before, right? Um, and do you like to eat birthday cake? Do you like them? Some of you say yes, some of you don't. Okay. Um, maybe even if you don't like to eat cake, you would maybe like to just look at them, right? Because they're normally very pretty and cute and very colorful, right? So on a birthday cake, we always have to put an icing on it. And so first grade, do you see these pictures over here and the top part on this cupcake? And these decorations, yeah, cream look like. Um, Very sweet part of a cake. That's icing, okay? Icing. Very fun to do, actually, if you have ever tried making a cake. Putting on an icing is the fun part. Now here, this picture over here is putting on an icing. Did you see that? There. Okay. So, the story is going to be about icing the cake, ice the cake. Yeah, maybe putting icing on the cake, decorating the cake. All right. And as we read the story, I want you guys to think about what is your favorite thing about a birthday party? What is your favorite thing about a birthday party? Is it the part where you get to invite all your friends, or the part where you get a lot of gifts, or the part where you get to buy gifts for your friends, or bake cake for your friends, or just about anything, or just play with your friends? What is the favorite thing about a birthday party? For me, I think it used to be the cake, birthday cake. Yeah, because when I was about your age, I used to love well, maybe a bit older than your age. My favorite character, cartoon character, was SpongeBob. I don't know if you guys know, but that was my favorite character. And my parents would actually make or order actually do place a special order for me, for little Miss Jen, to have SpongeBob cake. So I used to love uh the cake on my birthday. So that was my favorite part. Yeah. So think about what is your favorite part or favorite thing about a birthday party. Okay. All right, here you go. Ice the Cake by Jamie Turner, illustrated by Kathy Flood. Tidbit's birthday. Champ, Nipper, and Gus had to hurry home from school. They were going to babysit their little sister, Tidbit. Oh, so it's their little sister Tidbit's birthday, huh? Tidbit is sleeping, said Mother when they got home. Give her a bottle of milk when she wakes up, and please put icing on Tidbit's cake while I'm gone. It's going to be their job to put icing on the cake. They looked into the bowl at the creamy pink icing. That will be fun, they shouted. Dad is outside working in the yard if you need help, said Mother. She put on her coat and went out the door. Oh, so this is the family. Mother and three brothers, and they're going to be making the cake for their little sister, Tidbit. All right. And what is Tidbit doing right now? Right, she's asleep. She's sleeping. And so, what does mom ask these three brothers to do while she's gone? She's asking them to put icing on the cake for a tidbit, right? Okay. And what are their names, you guys, again? Right, Champ, Nipper, and Gus. Okay. What animals are they? Yes, they are chipmunks. So it's a chipmunk family, huh? Okay, let's see what happens next. Nipper ran to the ball of icing and grabbed it. I want to be first, he said. Gus stomped his feet hard. You never let me go first, he said. And I am tired of it. He yanked the ball from Nipper. Yank. It means to just take it. Yeah? Snatch. Take it away from another person. He yanked the ball from Nipper. Wait, said Champ. You haven't washed your hands yet. Champ took the ball from Gus and set it back on the table. Nipper and Gus raced to the sink. They pushed each other and splashed the water. They didn't even take time to dry their hands. They ran back to the table. Uh-oh, it looks like Nipper and Gus are going to get into a fight. Oh no. Look at that. What's going to happen to the icing? Oh no. Okay. So what does Nipper want to do, first grade? What does Nipper want to do? Right. He wants to be first to put icing on the cake. Yeah. But then why does Champ take the ball from Gus and set it on the table? Why does Champ take the ball from Gus and set it on the table? Right, because Gus and Nipper, they haven't washed their hands, right? It is very important, right, for you guys to have your hands cleaned before you make something or cook, especially when you're cooking. Your hands need to be clean before starting to bake or cook, right? But they are going to get into a fight. And they are pushing each other, splashing the water when they're washing their hands. Do you think Mother would be happy? Do you think Mother would be pleased with Gus and Nipper's behavior? No, of course not, right? Why not? Right, because they're being mean to each other. They're not being nice to each other, right? And they're not letting their brother go first. Yeah. And also, they're not following the rules. I'm sure they have some rules at home, right? But their mother would not be happy with their behavior. Oh, I have a feeling that something is going to happen to that icing, first grade. Let's find out what's going to happen next. Gus reached the ball first this time and grabbed it with his slippery hand. I'll show you how to swirl the icing to make it pretty, he said. No, let me do it, whined Nipper, tugging at the ball. I had it first. Stop, said Champ. You two are dripping water into the icing. Just then they heard a shrill cry from Tidbit. Shrill is like high-pitched voice of cry or sound of a voice. Okay, very high-pitched. Oh, so the baby sister is crying because they're being so loud, right? Champ set the bowl back on the table. I'll try to rock Tibbet back to sleep, he said. Then we'll take turns with the icing. Maybe you two should dry your hands while I'm gone. When Champ left, Gus stormed off to dry his hands. But Nipper just wiped his hands on his shirt. And then he picked up the bowl again and stirred the icing. Oh no, what's going to happen? First grade. Um, so who grabs the ball first this time? Right, Gus. Reached the ball first this time, right? And why are Gus's hands slippery? Why are his hands slippery? Because, right, he didn't take time to dry them, right? And what does Gus want to show Nipper? Right, he says he wants to show Nipper how to swirl the icing to make it pretty. Yeah. And towards the end of this page, what does Champ tell Gus and Nipper to stop tugging on the ball? Or why does Champ tell Gus and Nipper to stop tugging on the ball? Yeah, because they're dripping water into the icing because their hands are still wet because they didn't take time to dry them, right? So they're dripping water into the icing, which is not a good idea. And what happened to Tibbet, the baby sister? Right, because they're so loud, she woke up. Yeah. And what is Champ's plan when Tibbet wakes up? What is Champ going to do? Right, Champ says, I will try to rock Tibbet back to sleep. Yeah. And Champ tells Gus and Nipper to dry their hands, and then they will take turns icing the cake. That is very wise idea, right? To take turns to ice the cake, right? But what happens as soon as Champ leaves the room? Oh no, Gus does what Champ told him to do. He dries his hands, what right? But Nipper, he just wipes his hands on his shirt. And he picks up the ball and started stirring the icing. Oh no, Nipper. What's going to happen next? That is easy, said Nipper. He put just a little bit on the top of the cake and twirled it into a creamy peak. It was like a little pink curl. When Gus came back, he was upset. You didn't wait for me to help, he said, and he jerked the ball from Nipper's hand. Nipper and Gus tugged back and forth on the ball, and then, cling! The ball fell to the floor. What was that? Champ yelled. He ran in with Tibbet, who was still whimpering. On the floor lay a giant puddle of pink icing. Nipper and Gus gulped. What would Mother say when she came home? They had to do something fast. Oh my goodness. Something that we all expected happened. They spilled the icing all over the floor. Oh my goodness, their floor turned into a pink floor because they just made a giant puddle of pink icing on the floor because Gus and Nipper, they were tugging the bowl back and forth and they dropped it. And Champ came back and he was holding Tibbet in his arm and she was still whimpering. Whimper means just to cry. Yeah, whining, crying. Oh my goodness. What is going to happen? What would Mother say when she came home first grade? So, let me ask you some questions about this page. So first grade, why is Gus upset? Gus was upset, right? Why is he upset? Because, right, Nipper did not wait for him to help, right? And what does the spilled icing look like? What does the spilled icing look like? Yeah, it looks like a giant puddle. Oh my goodness. So what do you think mother will do if she sees the icing on the floor?